Good morning. How are you all today? Thank you for visiting with us today and for viewing these videos that we send out to you. Welcome to Bible class with Andre and Betty. We're continuing our studies from the book of 2 Kings, and we're in chapter 24. And we're looking at Josiah's son becomes king. Now in chapter 23, Jehoahaz Shalom was Josiah's son, and he was made king, but he was taken into Egypt by the king of Egypt, and he died in Egypt. So Jehoiakim, whose name originally was Eliakim, becomes king after Shalom's death, taken into Egypt where he died. So we're at chapter 24. And it says, in the days of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. So Jehoiakim served Nebuchadnezzar for 3 years, and after 3 years he rebelled against him. And Jehoiakim reigned 11 years, but in the 3rd year, King Nebuchadnezzar came upon the people of Judah. Verse 2. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants the prophets. And so God had been telling the people of Judah, if you don't repent, I'm going to judge you. And he said it, what he meant by the prophets. Verse 3. Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, what? To remove them out of his sight for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, which was first said in chapter 23, verse 26. And because of Manasseh's sins, the whole nation would be destroyed. But the evil kings of the north had been taken under Assyrian captivity 100 or more years before this time. Verse 4. And also Manasseh, talking about Manasseh, and also for the innocent blood that he shed. For he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Verse 5. Even though in Chronicles, Manasseh is going to repent, but because of these murders, he could not be pardoned from the shedding innocent blood repeatedly. Verse 5. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? Verse 6, so Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, that is, he died. And Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. So Jehoiakim's son reigned as king. Verse 7, and the king of Egypt came not again any more out of the land. Why? For the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt unto the river Euphrates all that belonged to the king of Egypt. So now even Egypt was captured by Nebuchadnezzar. Verse 8. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. Verse 9, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done, that is Jehoiakim. Verse 10, and at that time the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was attacked. Now in Jeremiah 52, the 52nd chapter, you'll find that there were 3 times over a period about 23 years that Babylon and King Nebuchadnezzar captured all the people of Judah and took them into captivity, other than the poor people they left in the land of Judah. And verse 11, and Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came again against the city, and his servants did attack it, overthrew it. Verse 12, and Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign, that is, in the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, because Jehoiakim only reigned 3 months. Verse 13, and he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. So God had already told them that everything was going to be destroyed, even the temple, if they refused to repent and obey the Lord. So verse 14, and he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remain except the poorest sort of the people of the land. Verse 15, and he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty of the land. Those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. Verse 16, and all the men of might, even 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war, are able to war. Even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. And now verse 17 says, and the king of Babylon made Mattaniah his father's brother, so it's Jehoiakim's uncle, king in his stead. And he changed Mattaniah's name to be Zedekiah. Zedekiah is the last king to reign over Israel before the captivity. Verse 18, Zedekiah is Jehoiakim's brother, but he's Jehoiakim's uncle. Verse 18, Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And we'll see this is his grandmother, because in chapter 23, verse 31, this same lady was the mother of Jehoiakim. Verse 23, I think, in chapter 23. I'm sorry, it's chapter 23, verse 31. And she was Jehoahaz's mother. So this is Zedekiah's grandmother. Verse 19. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. So since Josiah, the three descendants of his have all committed evil in the sight of the Lord. Verse 20. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. So even though he's a king, he's still rebelling, and it's going to take, I believe, a couple of years for the whole Judah to be taken into captivity. And we'll see that next time. You all have a great day and a great week. Bye.